Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Hangout. Glad you could join me today. It is the festive season is upon us, as it were. I even took the time to decorate for you today. I noticed just before I hit record that I do not have a star on my little tiny tree, but this isn't my actual tree. This is just a little desktop one that I put up a week or two ago. But yeah, the holiday season is upon us. If you celebrate that, if you don't, that's okay too. No judgment here, or I actually don't even really care. I've had lots of conversations with people over the last few weeks about the holidays and Christmas in general, and I guess my consensus is that I'm more kind of into the memories and the food and the TV specials and stuff like that. And that'll be reflected in what I watched and what I listened to this week. So, yeah, so I hope you're all doing well out there in video land. If you're new to the Hangout, I encourage you to pause the video, heat up a warm beverage of your choice, coffee, tea, or you can have a cold beverage too. You can have soda, though don't drink too much of it because it's not good for you. You can have some ice water, some lemonade, some Kool-Aid. You know, funny aside, when I was a little kid, my mom used to make Kool-Aid, but it wasn't until, I know this is going to sound really weird, but it wasn't until I was in my young adult years that a partner of mine at the time made Kool-Aid, and I was like, this Kool-Aid you made is fantastic. Why does it not taste anything like the Kool-Aid from my childhood? And I think I quickly discovered that my mom didn't put sugar in it. It was just colored water. So when I had a first taste of Kool-Aid with sugar, which really you're just drinking sugar, but it was quite delicious. Sorry, if my friend Marcy's listening, that's sugar. But yeah, we're a couple of weeks away from the holidays. To my knowledge, I'm not getting any physical media for Christmas, which in hindsight, I wish I had asked for something for Christmas movie related, but I did order a compact disc for myself the other day for the Christmas season, so that should be arriving. I don't know if it'll be here in time for next week's video, but I also picked up a bunch of stuff this past week. I traded in a bunch of stuff and got some new stuff, so I'll be showing you that, so stick around. But yeah, the Hangout is just meant to you want to hang out with somebody, you can hang out with me if you want. I usually go for about an hour. This is a kind of in lieu of a live stream, I guess, because I haven't crossed that bridge yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna basically the routine here is, if you're new here, is I talk about what I listened to, what I watched either on physical media or streaming, any physical media pickups that I did while I was thrifting. I talk about new release DVDs and Blu-rays coming out in the coming week, and just general life thoughts, like i.e. the Kool-Aid story. I've already knocked this tree over a few times getting ready for this video, so if I knock it over and there's a bang, we're just going to carry on, okay? We're just going to go forward. So without further ado, I'm going to get into, well, you know what? I'm going to shake it up this week. I'm going to start off with what I watched. Some of the stuff, I realized I didn't put this in any particular great order, but the first thing I watched, actually, I didn't watch this on VHS, although I do own this on VHS. I watched this on streaming this past week for the first time in my life. This is 1985's Santa Claus the Movie, directed by Alexander Salkind. And this stars Dudley Moore and John Lithgow. It is from the year 1985. I already said that. What am I talking about? For some reason, I thought this movie was earlier. This is an old media release. And I actually saved this from somebody's garbage at the end of their driveway a couple of years ago when it was spring cleanup. Somebody left out a big box of VHS tapes, and this was in that stack. But anyway, I ended up just watching it on streaming. That's just how I watched it. But it was fun. I actually really enjoyed this movie. It says this is a delightful story of a master toy maker who discovers a magical kingdom of elves at the North Pole. There he is entrusted with wondrous special powers to become the world's beloved patron of Christmas, Santa Claus. When he meets Patch, played by Dudley Moore, an eager-to-please elf who becomes mixed up with a dastardly toy tycoon, John Lithgow, plans to take over Christmas. And so begins Santa's greatest adventure of all, to rescue his faithful elf and to save Christmas for all the children of the world. So if you are a parent of a young child, I think this would be suitable. Maybe not for like little mini kids, but probably 5 and up. It's a cute little movie, actually. I quite liked it. Probably will rewatch this in the coming years. Yeah, really good. As you could tell, it's not super memorable to me. Oh, and I made a mistake. This is presented by somebody named Alexander Salkin, but it's directed by Jeannot Swark. And I feel like that name is really familiar. The music is also by Henry Mancini. But yeah, if you're looking for lighter fare for the holiday season, this is a sweet little movie. I think this is streaming for free on some of those free apps. I think I watched it on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, cute movie. I didn't finish this yet, but I did start to watch Home Alone last night. I got too tired and I had to turn it off, so I'm going to finish that today. So that's why I included it in this video. I'll probably watch Home Alone 2 next week, or this coming week. I usually watch these movies around the holidays, though I have to be honest, I think I'm getting a little burned out on some of the ones I've seen a lot over and over again. Christmas Vacation and Home Alone and The Grinch. Those kind of ones. I've seen them so many damn times. I think I'm getting tired of them. When I was watching Home Alone last night, I actually was kind of irritated by some of the characters as well. That really annoying uncle that's in the first one, he actually really irritates me. I don't know what it is about that character, but I guess he's supposed to do that in the movie, but at times when I'm watching it, I just think, oh God, why am I watching this? But anyway, they are holiday classics, and I know they're beloved by a lot of folks, especially probably a lot of younger folks. Home Alone came out when I was 20, I think, if that's the year 1990. And I enjoyed it okay for what it was, but maybe next year I'll skip that. This next movie is not a holiday movie, although you could... no, I don't think you could even argue, but I did have a storm day this week. I actually had 2 storm days this past week. But on the second storm day I watched Quentin Tarantino's 2015 masterpiece? I don't know. The Hateful Eight. This is a favorite of mine, not only of Quentin Tarantino's, but I just like it for the when it's snowing, it's set in the winter, it's just got those kind of vibes. This has Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Walter Goggins, Damian Bashir, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, and Bruce Dern. And I've seen this movie many, many times. Though, I will say, I believe this viewing was the first time I watched it on Blu-ray, because I always had this on DVD, and I could see a marked improvement in picture quality. So this might be one I would have to get in 4K eventually, but I don't know if it's on 4K yet or not. But great movie. If you like, I've talked about this movie before on my channel, but if you like John Carpenter's The Thing, and you like Westerns, and you generally like Tarantino's style, this is the one for you, baby. I was really, really trying to pick up on I was really engaged with this movie this time. It's a movie that is a character study, and my understanding is that Tarantino's idea behind it, the premise was that go back if you're old enough or familiar with 50s, 60s westerns. Each week on the western, generally they would have a bad guy. And Tarantino's idea for this film was, what if we took all of the bad guys from all those episodes in a western and locked them together in a haberdashery in a snowstorm with a twisted plot? And I thought that was quite brilliant. So yeah, I really like this movie, but I was really, really paying attention to the characters. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, if you've seen this film and you're familiar with it. I did find what I think is a pretty huge plot hole, but it's when Tim Roth asks Walter Goggins, "Are you the person with the Lincoln letter?" And I may sound really dumb right now. I looked it up, and it seems a few people on Reddit also had the same question, but like, how did Tim Roth's character know about the Lincoln letter? I don't get that part. I didn't. I thought about it for a little while, but not too deeply. So maybe I'll figure it out on my own. But I couldn't figure that one out because they arrive after anyway. But otherwise, brilliant movie. It's filmed in Panavision 70 millimeter or 65 millimeter, projected in 70 millimeter. And my God, the opening sequence of that film is beautiful. I mean, you've got these big panoramic 65 millimeter shots. Just, oh my God. When I was watching it, I thought, man, I wish I had gone to the theater to see this. I don't know what I was, well, I do know what I was thinking. December of 2015, I was not in a good place. No. I was down on my luck, and I had just gotten cut off from my social assistance, and I had to move in with my parents at age 45. And that's when that movie came out. And so that's probably why I didn't see it in the theater, because I had no money. But anyway, happy to have seen it all these years later. But I think if they ever project that on a big screen again, I would have to try to go see it. On that note, I guess Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, is not coming to a theater near me, which sucks because I really did want to go see it. But also, it's 4.5 hours long. That's almost 5 hours. There is an intermission, I guess, halfway. But I guess my theater is not going to be getting it, nor the theater close by, so I will have to miss that. And I don't think there's a Blu-ray disc that's big enough to hold a 5-hour movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe Tarantino will release it as a 2-disc set and include the newly added material. But anyway, Hateful Eight. If you're having a snowstorm and you're snowed in and you're looking for a bit of a mystery, it's a bit gory in parts. Obviously, it's a Tarantino movie. And actually, now that I think about it, it's very similar in pace to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, in the sense that it's story, and then all bloody, gory action all at the end. Interesting. I guess that's what comes with the final showdown in any story, but it's kind of, yeah, interesting. Anyway, on the stereo this week, I listened to Nightwish. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know I picked this up a few weeks ago in a thrifting haul. This is the album Angels Fall First. Great album title. This has the track Elven Path on it, which I love that song. I will say, I listened to this CD a few times at home and in the car driving around. This is from 1997. The lead singer is Tarja, who is I believe, a classically trained vocalist. And her vocals are great on this album. But the guy, I guess it must be Thomas Holopainen. Yolo Pinen, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his vocals are not good on this album. Like, they don't sound good. In fact, the last time I listened to this, which was yesterday, when I got to the first song with his voice on it, which I think is the second track, I thought, this is almost unlistenable. That's how weak his vocals were. I hate saying that because obviously he's got some talent and they did albums and tours and they're obviously have a lot of talent, but I don't know if it was the way it was mixed or if I just prefer Tarja's vocals, but yeah, musically awesome. It's got the synthesizers, it's got the dun 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 dun. You know, if you're in for all that symphonic metal and you like Lord of the Rings and shit like that, it's probably your jam. But the songs that are good are awesome. The songs that are weak are just that. Now, I think we're moving into pickup territory / what did I watch this past week. So I also picked up this. So this was the first of my thrifting haul. I picked up Enya CD, and I didn't pick up Enya. I picked up her CD, And Winter Came. If I did get a chance to meet Enya, I would ask her if she would like to come over to my house and sing me lullabies until I fell asleep. So this is like a winter kind of CD. It's got like, you know, it's got the angelic sound of Enya. White is in the winter night. O come, Emmanuel. The spirits of Christmas past. Yeah, quite nice. Quite nice. I did pop this on this morning when I was getting, or when I was waking up. A nice way to wake up, actually. Quite lovely. I wouldn't say this is your traditional Christmas album, but it does have those kind of like, if you like the holidays and you like more of a sort of an angelic kind of a thing. And I believe in one of my prior videos, I was listening to a lot of Clannad, and I believe Enya is a sister to one or a few of the people in the band Clannad, and then she went solo. And I think Enya might have gotten her start with that band, but yeah, really, really nice album. If you're looking for something other than Jingle Bells and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and you want to put, you know, if you just, I was in my apartment this morning with just the tree lights on and the Christmas lights, and this playing in the dark, beautiful, solid. The other thing I picked up, which I was really surprised to find on CD, this is Platinum Blonde's 1985 second album, Alien Shores, put out on CBS Records. Anyone who knows me well knows that when I was growing up in the 80s, I was in fact, I was a card-carrying member of the Platinum Blonde fan club. Yeah, I was that dedicated. But yeah, I have never seen this on CD. I see this on cassette and I see it on vinyl from time to time, but never seen it on CD. And I got this for one measly Canadian loonie. Yeah, let that sink in. So the weird part is that I had MP3s of this album from a source, and I actually burned it onto a CD for the first time in about 25 years. I burned a CDR, and it was this album, and that was about 2 weeks ago. And then this past week, I find this CD, which is so weird because I have never been able to find this. I'm still looking for their first album, Standing in the Dark, but and here's my plan. So years ago on YouTube, I had a different channel that wasn't really a channel that I was growing. It was just my own personal channel. I found all of my Platinum Blonde fan club stuff, and I did a video showcasing all of my stuff from the fan club and newspaper clippings that I had kept and all this stuff from when I was that age. And so this Christmas, in a couple of weeks, I'm probably going to be hanging around my mom and my sister's house for about a weekish. And what I really want to do is I need to go. I have some boxes in storage there, and one of those boxes contains my Platinum Blonde stuff. So What I'd like to do maybe in the early new year is I'll do another sort of like, it's not really an unboxing because it's all just stuff I have in my archives, but I'm going to go through that stuff again and I'll show you the cool stuff. I got to meet Platinum Blonde on this tour in Fredericton at the Aiken Center, and it was a real thrill for me. Chris Steffler, the drummer, and Kenny McLean, the bass player, who has since passed on, this guy right here. These two guys backstage, super cool. They signed me and my friend Andy's stuff. We chatted with them a bit. I think I got everyone's signature except for the singer. But I was 15, and these guys were like walking around backstage drinking alcohol, I presume, out of it looked like wine or champagne or something. I was like totally just like a dumb little, like I was like a deer in headlights. But anyway, I'll share more of that when I find my stuff in my archives because it is really cool. The fan club would send you like glossy photos of the band. I think I have a catalog with like stuff you could order, like Platinum Blonde jewelry and Platinum Blonde underwear and all this stuff. So I'll be talking about that. That'll be maybe weird. I don't know. Remember when bands had their logos printed on women's underwear and they sold them at concerts? What was that all about? I don't know. That's weird and creepy. Let's move on. More Canadian music. I found this CD. This is Sloan, the Peppermint EP from 1992. Kids, this is a rarity too. I have not seen this since I was probably in my 20s. This is actually put out on Sloan's label, Murder Records. You can see at one time it sold for $8. I got this for, I think, $2.99. This is before this is sort of when they were just getting popular, and it has the song Underwhelmed on it, which was their sort of breakout single. And yeah, this is really cool. I have not seen this CD in forever. And I did not have this in my collection, and I was really happy to add it. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I did hang out with these guys back in the late 80s when I played in a band and they played in a different band. This was a couple years before this EP, but this is wicked. Marcus said, Lucky for Me, Sugar Tune. This has got only 6 songs on it, but it's really, really solid. And this was Sloan when they were sort of in that, like they got really, really quite sophisticated with their songwriting. But this was early on, and this is when they were really more into the sort of shoegazer, I don't want to say grunge, but like kind of that, like, trying to think of bands that, maybe the more sugary Nirvana, My Bloody Valentine for sure. I know these guys were big fans, but yeah, really happy to add this. I actually haven't listened to this yet, but excited to check it out. I have not heard this since, oh my God, so long ago. I'm going to save that. I'm going to save these ones because these are really good pickups. Not that none of these are, they're all kind of cool. I grabbed this one for $1 as well. I do have this DVD. It has a different cover, but I'm probably just going to try to resell this one. I know a lot of folks seem to really like this one, and I've had good luck reselling it. Not to be one of those types of people, but I don't usually like gouge people, but yeah, make a couple bucks. Why not? It's a little side hustle. But yeah, this is a fantastic movie. This was a Rankin and Bass film, which I'm going to talk about again in a minute. Voice actors Jeff Bridges, Mia Farrow, and Angela Lansbury. And songs performed by the band America. So that, I don't know. Or I may gift that to somebody. I do have a few friends that like kind of fantasy movies, so I might just gift it. It is the holiday season. Maybe I'll do that instead. But anyway, whenever I see kind of like cool things or things I don't see a lot, I'll just grab them. Even if I have them. Sometimes I resell them to my friends for the same amount I paid for them. Sometimes I put them on Facebook. And then sometimes I just give them to people. So So speaking of Rankin Bass, I grabbed this collection this past week. This is the Rankin & Bass, the original Christmas classics. This is the limited keepsake edition. Ooh, fancy. This was $4.99, which I thought was pretty good. It is, I mean, this might sound funny to like physical media collectors. This thing's stacked. But yeah, we're not talking like some boutique label or anything, but it has Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And this also has a really cute animated feature called Cricket on the Hearth, sorry, which some of you may know. I had never seen that before. That had the voice acting of Roddy McDowall in it as the little cricket. And so this is also kind of on my watch list because my other Storm Day, which was Wednesday, I think, I watched Christmas specials all day long. It was quite nice. Again, I just put the Christmas lights on, had a cup of coffee, and I watched some Christmas specials and was all cozy. The other one in this collection is, of course, Frosty the Snowman. This comes with the extra feature Frosty Returns, sorry, which was a weird one for me. I think I watched that one a few years ago on YouTube, and it's really weird. It's like, John Goodman did the voice of Frosty, and it had Andrea Martin as a voice in it, and the narrator was, it's not, I don't know why I keep thinking of Walter Matthau for some reason, but it was a really not a very well animated movie. I'm just looking up Frosty's Return. See what comes up here. The animation wasn't that great, if I'm being honest. It only got a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, Jonathan Winters. Jonathan Winters was the narrator. Let's see who else was in it. Jan Hooks was in it. Andrea Martin. Brian Doyle Murphy. Why do I know him? Was he the guy from, I think he was the guy from Office Space, if I'm not mistaken. And holy Mac, he's still going. If that's the same guy I'm thinking of. But yeah, Frosty Returns, I should say. Not bad. Not as good as the original. The animation, like I said, it's not that good. Actually, if you look at Frosty there, that's sort of the classic Frosty animated look. And then if you look at him there, you can see the difference in the animation style. And it had this really cheap, like Charlie Brown kind of rip-off look to it. I'm just checking to see if this guy, Brian Doyle Murphy, was he in... No, I guess not. I must be thinking of somebody else. He's been in a lot of movies, though. So yeah, and then the last one in the set, in this box set that I got, which I'll show you again, the original Christmas classics. It also has Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the animated one, with the elf who wanted to be a dentist who goes to the island of misfit toys. The bonus features on this disc were The Little Drummer Boy, which I did not watch yet, and Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Did you guys know that was the thing? I did not see that before. So this was kind of a treat, really, because I was watching these classics from my childhood while at the same time enjoying some new specials that I had never seen. I would recommend that Cricket on the Hearth, though, if you can see that. Running time is 275 plus minutes, so digitally remastered, yeah. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, I think these ones are fairly easy to find now. Get that down there. These ones are fairly easy to find in the thrift store. These were quite popular probably about 10 years ago when you could buy DVDs at Walmart, but now that you can't, you could probably find those. And then the other thing I found, which is also Christmas related and also a box set, which might surprise some of you, but I found this Happy Holidays from Sesame Street 3 DVD gift collection from Sony Wonder. Did I get a year off of this one? just for posterity, this one's actually from 2010, so I was right. And this Sesame Street one is from 2005, it looks like. This has 3 specials in it. Let's see if I can... Actually, the packaging's quite nice for one of these. It folds open. There's some cool pictures of the Sesame Street characters in the snow. And then it has 3 discs. And the 3 discs inside are Happy Holidays for Elmo's World, Elmo Saves Christmas, which is a really dark one. I talked about that last Christmas, I think. And then Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. Yeah. They're, I think I commented about this last Christmas. Like a lot of the kids specials, they're quite dark. And I found myself going like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening, you know. In the one Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie decide they're going to get each other a gift, but they don't have any money. So Bert trades his paperclip collection in for a soap dish for Ernie's rubber ducky, and Ernie trades in his rubber ducky for a cigar box for Bert to put his paperclip collection in. And when they open them on Christmas Eve, it's like so sad. I was just dying. I was like, oh no, this is the worst. You'll have to watch it to see what happens. It's Sesame Street, so of course it doesn't end on a sad note, but there's just that tension, right? And you're thinking, oh, I don't want to see these beloved childhood characters suffer like this. And just even, man, Jim Henson was so brilliant, even with Bert and Ernie. Like, I don't know if he did those characters, but if it was him or Frank Oz or somebody else, but even how they pinched like the mouths of the characters to show like, and turn their heads down to show like sadness. Just the smallest little movements create so much meaning in those movements. When I was rewatching it the other day, I thought, my God, these guys were brilliant. The whole Sesame Street crew, I guess, but for Jim Henson to come up with these characters, design them, probably fabricated some of them, and then just that, you know, we all know like Kermit the Frog when he's mad, he pulls his hand in like this, like this. The whole thing fascinates me. In fact, I probably am, or maybe I was a puppeteer in a former life. I don't know, but highly recommend those. The Elmo's World Happy Holidays is just an episode of Elmo's World, which take that for what you will, but it's still cute. And what's her name was in it? Not Kathy Lee Gifford, but the other one that used to be on that morning talk show. Katie something. Anyway, fantastic. Loved it. I don't think there's credits on the inside, is there? No. There's not really any credits on the outside packaging, but anyway, I bought this and I watched it. Now, on to the really good stuff. So yesterday I was at work, but across the street from me is a really cool store called Rainbow's End, which sells comic books, DVDs, collectibles, music, vinyl, CDs, all the stuff. And I actually worked there several years ago. And so I had a great big bag of movies that I wanted to get rid of. And I have been trying to take them somewhere to get rid of them and get some cool stuff that I actually want. I'm just peeling the price tag off here because I went for the heavy hitters this time. So I got nearly $200 in credit at the store, and I still have a little bit of credit left over, but there were a few things in that store that were priced quite high that I had my eye on, and I took advantage of the credit. So the first thing I got was Dungeons and Dragons, the animated series. This is called Into the Magical Realm. There's 9 episodes. This was put out by, I believe, Echo Bridge, yeah. I've only seen a few of these episodes on YouTube. I've never actually sat down and really dug in on these, but something about them appeals to me. I'm sure some of you grew up watching this on TV. No, it's not Echo Bridge. It's Mill Creek. Sorry. So yeah, I have to be honest. This is from 1984, or the cartoon is from 1984. This DVD is from 2010. I have not really done a deep dive on this cartoon. I don't know if there's more episodes after this. You guys can let me know. I think this got canceled fairly prematurely, though. I don't think it was a great success. Even though Dungeons and Dragons was a huge success as a game in the 80s. And then, of course, they made the movie in the 90s, which I've actually never seen that one either. And then more recently, they made a newer one, which I heard was kind of fun, but I haven't seen that one either. Don't see those around very much. But yeah, I picked this one up. They had a bit bigger of a price tag on it just because it's probably a more rare DVD to find. But I will check it out. And I'm just happy to know that it has a bit of value to it if I decide it's not something I want to keep in my collection. Now, this past week I've been watching, because I am beginning the process of working on my own comic book or graphic novel. I've been watching a lot of videos about comic book artists and the history of comic books and tutorials on drawing and composition and all that stuff. And one thing that I don't really have, I actually don't think I have any heavy metal magazines, the actual magazine Heavy Metal, but I was watching a lot of videos about that. And this is a DVD that was at the store, I was aforementioned store, that also had a pretty hefty price tag on it. I've never seen this movie and I've never seen this DVD out and about. So I decided to take a gamble. I really like the first Heavy Metal movie from the early 80s, but I don't know anything about this one. But I gather this must be somewhat rare. I don't know if this is out of print or what. So I'm going to check this out. Again, I don't know anything about it, but there's the inside. This is apparently a special edition, but I don't know. I think there are quite a few features on it. Let's see. Digitally mastered audio, widescreen, Julie Strain's Super Goddess featurette, voice talent featurette, isolated music score. That's always cool, especially if it has a good score. Animation test, photo gallery, 5 animatic comparisons, theatrical trailers. So yeah, rated 18 in Canada, so it must have some stuff in it. Yeah, so cool. I was thinking maybe I'll do a double feature. I'll watch the original Heavy Metal and then I'll watch that one. This is it. I think I complained about this on one of my previous videos. This Blu-ray, the store I'm talking about, and I'm not judging anyone, but they originally had $90 on this, which, okay, it is apparently out of print, and I've never seen this on Blu-ray or DVD. I've seen the movie streaming, which I liked, but I've never seen this physical media-wise. I don't know. You guys can tell me if this is out of print or not. I think it still streams on Shudder, if I'm not mistaken. Was this a Shudder? No, I don't think it was a Shudder film, but it's a cosmic sort of body horror. It's a bit of John Carpenter's The Thing in there, a bit more sci-fi-ish. There's these weird dudes with like robes on, with like triangles on their foreheads, and there's tentacles, and no, not that. Get your mind out of the gutter now. Although I don't fully remember. I've only seen this once on streaming. This was $90 in a glass showcase, and I was like, I don't know. I did look it up online. It does go for quite a bit of money. When I asked them about it, and I said, really, $90? They did bring it down to $60. And with my credit, I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger. So this is from the executive producer of The Witch, apparently. Some of you are probably laughing at me. Why would you pay? Well, I had credit, and I do like this movie, and it's not one I see around very much, and I do want to rewatch it. and I probably would want to have it in my collection, so I just decided to pull the trigger. This has been in that glass showcase for like 6 months. I refuse to pay that out of my own pocket, but trading in a bunch of stuff that I didn't want and getting something better. And yeah, so I did that. I know it's crazy. And speaking of crazy, but this is actually a holy grail for me, for my collection. And it's just one of many films in this series. I'm not saying I'm going to collect all of them, probably just going to collect the first 3 or 4. But finally, after 5 years of searching, now I did see one other VHS from this series, but it was one of the latter installments, and I don't like it that much. And it had a big price tag on it, and I didn't want to pay for it. So, but finally, for the first time in my life, from 1994, a film from 1984, I finally grabbed, and I'm really excited about this, a VHS copy of Friday the 13th for the final chapter. Kids, when I saw this a couple weeks ago, I've not stopped thinking about this. They had $40 on this, which I don't know. That might be a little high, but it might be about the same. Might be about right. I literally, so a few minutes ago I mentioned I had seen another one. I think it was Jason Goes to Hell on VHS, and they wanted like $60 for it on VHS. I was like, nah, can't do it. I do have Freddy vs. Jason on VHS, but I didn't have any of the OG Paramount Friday the 13th movies on VHS. And I've always wanted them. I don't know why. I just wanted them. And since I started thrifting seriously about 5 years ago, I have not seen a single Friday the 13th VHS tape. I did see one Friday the 13th VHS tape, but it didn't have the case. Well, who wants just the tape? So I had to grab this with my credit. This is going to look nice on my shelf. It just turns out this is my favorite Friday the 13th movie, after the first one, of course. So I was really, really excited to find this, guys. And it's a Christmas miracle. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, these two... See, I told you it was going to fall eventually. You son of a bitch. That was an overreaction. But yeah, these two... I had seen these... Actually, these 3... I had seen at the store, and I bookmarked them in my brain. I was like, okay, if I get store credit or if I get a windfall of cash, I'm going to grab these for my collection. This ties back into more of what I've been talking about since August, which is bringing my collection down to more of what the stuff I want, and then trying some new stuff. This was one I definitely wanted to have in my collection. Ideally, I'd like to have the first 3 to go with this one. The other ones, they're cool, but for me, as a teenager, these were the ones that I watched the most. I think 5 is the one I really don't like. Is 5 the one with the hillbillies or whatever? Or is that 3? I get them mixed up. But yeah, not a huge fan of the later ones. I mean, I have like the Blu-ray box set or whatever, and I do watch them when I do like a marathon of Friday the 13th. I'll usually throw those later ones on just to, I don't know, just for the fun of it. But yeah, this one's my all-time favorite of the series, and I'm so excited to have this on VHS. Makes me happy. So, and that's, again, going back to, collecting and stuff like that, and having a collection of your own. Collect the stuff you like, collect the stuff that you really want. Don't get caught up, I got caught up in the gears of, I'm just going to buy everything, or I'm going to buy this thing because it looks cool, or I'm going to buy this thing because it's made by the same people that made this. And, there is something slightly distressing about this VHS tape, though, which I'm noticing now that I'm looking a little closer. And you Friday the 13th fans can tell me, but I did notice on the spine, it has this logo and it says Gateway. I'm really hoping this isn't a repro. It doesn't have that look. I mean, that's the classic Friday the 13th sticker look. But yeah, I don't know. The case is in a really nice condition. I mean, it's got a few dents and dings and dongs, but Gateway, I'm not familiar with that company. I know there was a lot of rights issues with these films and ownership of different parts of the property and stuff like that, so I don't know. But anyway, it's cool. It's going on my shelf. I'm excited to have it finally in my collection. And like I said, hopefully in the coming years, I'll be able to find part 1, 2, and 3. The sucky part is I actually used to have part 1. I bought part 1 on a one of those like Columbia Movie Clubs or BMG Movie Clubs or whatever. Then, as a side note, the other things I watched on streaming, I watched Scrooge with Alistair Sim from 1951 for the first time in my life. Did you guys know that there's like a million versions of the Christmas Carol / Scrooge story? I couldn't believe how many different versions there were. I always thought it was like, there's the original, and then there's the George C. Scott, and then there's like the crappy animated one with Jim Carrey. But there are so many versions of this story. I mean, of course, there's the Muppets too. But I couldn't believe how many versions of this movie were, because I typed in A Christmas Carol on the Amazon app, and then all of a sudden all these thumbnails came up of all of these versions of Scrooge and A Christmas Carol. I couldn't believe how many different versions there were. But I believe the 1951 black and white one with Alistair Sim, I believe that's his name, is the sort of considered the classic version. I personally like the George C. Scott version and the Muppets version, but I was happy to watch this. I will say, and I believe his name is Alistair Sim, I hope I'm getting that right, but I found that version to be quite good, actually, and quite creepy. The ghosts and that, like the ghosts of Christmas Past and all that, I didn't find them to be too spooky, but I thought the actors' reactions to the ghosts was really terrifying at some points. But you know, if you know the story, which it's while I was watching it, I was thinking, is this my favorite story? I think maybe. I just think it's a really, really good story. Charles Dickens, right? But if any of you out there know other versions that you think I should check out, like I said, I've seen my favorite is the George C. Scott made for TV version, the Muppets version. I have not seen the Jim Carrey computer generated one. I heard kind of mixed things on that one. There's Scrooge with Bill Murray. Yeah, there's a bunch, I guess. But anyway. And then the other thing I tried to watch streaming on Disney Plus was the movie Thunderbolts, which is one of the newer Marvel movies. I turned it off. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's just not made for me. I was trying to impress my son by saying, hey, I finally watched a new Marvel movie, because he's always asking me, did you see? And I'm like, nah, I checked out on superhero movies a long time ago. I liked Ant-Man, and I liked Doctor Strange, and I liked the Spider-Man ones, but I wasn't into the Avengers and that stuff. I thought the Thunderbolts trailer looked kind of funny. It has that guy from Stranger Things in it, David something. And the movie starts off really fun, and I was like, oh, this is going to be really fun. Like, this is going to be like Guardians of the Galaxy or something. But it just slowly, as the time went on, it just went down and down and down to the point where I just turned it off. So I'm not really considering that something I watched this past week, because I really didn't finish it. On side note, before we get to what's coming out on physical media this week, I did see yesterday that Star Wars Part 4, A New Hope. When I was a kid, it was just called Star Wars. But yeah, apparently for Star Wars' 50th anniversary, if you can believe that, in 2027, they are re-releasing, now this is alleged, re-releasing Star Wars, the uncut 1977 theatrical cut version of the film for its anniversary. So we'll see if that actually happens or not. I thought Lucas had signed a thing with Disney saying, like, you're never going to put out those old versions again, but it does give hope that maybe they would re-release the trilogy uncut in the original way it was meant to be seen. And then maybe if it comes out in the theater, maybe we'll get a physical media release. That would be cool. I would love to see Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi on 4K in a box set. You know, remastered sound, remastered picture. I think it would be just incredible, but I also might be dreaming. So anyway, that's a side note. I just saw that yesterday. So guys, we've come to the point in the show where I talk about upcoming physical media releases in your favorite local movie retailer, which at this point, I don't know what that would be. Sunrise Records, Walmart, sort of. I guess if you go to a bigger Walmart, although even the bigger Walmarts seem to be cutting back a lot on their physical media. So my best advice is to find I go to Sunrise Records in the Micmac Mall in Nova Scotia. Did I have something in my hair? I do. And Taz Records, downtown Halifax, has a lot of your new releases and boutique stuff. Did I have this in my hair the whole time? That's a drag about having long hair, I guess. Anyway, upcoming physical media releases for December 9th. Minority Report is coming out on 4K, and it's also coming out on a 4K steelbook. Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, is getting the 4K treatment. The Shaw Scope Volume 4, 1975 to 1983, is coming out in a box set. Criterion is releasing the DVD and Blu-ray of I Know Where I'm Going from 1945. There's a Riddick 4K steelbook with Vin Diesel. The Strangers Chapter 2 from this year is coming out on physical media. I think I watched The Strangers from last year, the original one, or the first chapter. I didn't think I minded it. I can't really remember it though, so maybe it wasn't that great. The film Airplane is coming out on 4K from 1980. The Grey, starring Liam Neeson, is coming out on 4K steelbook. That film is from 2011. Black Christmas from 1974 is getting the 4K steelbook treatment. I got the Blu-ray 2 Christmases ago. Nacho Libre is getting a 4K. Nacho Libre from 2006, starring Jack Black. There. You see? It's just on this little base. And I think the weight of the cord keeps bringing it down. Anyway. Nacho Libre with Jack Black. I really like that movie. I find that movie to be really, really funny. My son and I used to watch that movie a lot. And then me and my friend Chrissy watched it a few times. And we used to quote that movie all the time. Go read some books. Yeah, I like that movie. That's from Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite. We also have a film called Monster Shark from 1984 coming out on Blu-ray. The Blues Brothers is coming out on a 4K steelbook from 1980. We have Catch Me If You Can, 4K, also on coming out on a steelbook. What's this one? Triple Threat. 3 films with Sammo Hung coming out on Blu-ray from 1974 to 1990. Walking Tall, the remake of Walking Tall with Dwayne Johnson, coming out on 4K from 2004. Al Pacino and Sean Penn in a great, great film, Carlito's Way from 1993, coming out on 4K. Jarhead with, what's his face there? Gyllenhaal from 2005. Never seen that movie. 1979's The Shark Hunter coming out on Blu-ray. I don't know what that is. Let's see what else. Top Secret is coming out on 4K from 1984. Night of the Sharks. There seems to be a lot of shark movies. I'm gathering a theme here. Night of the Sharks from 1988 is coming out on Blu-ray. Let's see what else. Awakenings with Robin Williams and Robert De Niro is coming out on 4K from 1990. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark from 1988 is also coming out on 4K. Did I say Awakenings is coming out on 4K, not just Blu-ray? Scars of Dracula with Christopher Lee is coming out on 4K. And finally, Hearts of Darkness is coming out on 4K from, well, it says 1991. That must be the, whatever, the director's cut or whatever. Next week, guys, is the, I'll mention it again next week, but next week is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles box set coming out from Arrow. So I know probably a lot of physical media collectors are excited about that one. But that's it for physical media releases coming out this coming Tuesday. I mean, there's other ones listed here. There's a bunch of anime and stuff and movies that I don't really know. But those are the big ones and some of the cooler boutique ones that are coming out. So if any of those appeal to you, you can go check them out at your, like I said, your favorite movie retailer. That's it for me for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my physical media haul. Like I said, I got some absolute bangers this week, which, you know, really excited. I'll probably dig in on these this coming week. If you're looking for lighter fare for Christmas, you can check these ones out. They're all really good. These ones are starting to, if you have cable television, you're probably not watching this video, but I do believe some of these are starting to show up on cable for their yearly viewing. And like I said, if you have maybe younger to older kids, this would be a great family film to check out, Santa Claus the movie. But yeah, that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your comments below. Are any of these movies your favorites? What are you watching on your TV or your phone or your laptop? Or what are you listening to? Love some music. I've been listening to a lot of metal lately. Trying to remember. I think I mentioned last week I've been watching a lot of videos of Tommy Aldridge, the drummer, doing a bunch of playthroughs on Whitesnake and Ozzy Osbourne songs. He is unbelievably good on drums. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of metal lately, which doesn't seem very holiday-ish, but I do enjoy listening to some metal around Christmas as well. Usually I listen to like a weird mix of music. I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. I listen to like surf music and Christmas music and garage rock and metal and all over the place. I guess that's as per usual for me. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you're watching. If you have any hidden gems for holiday films that you think I should check out. This year, and even last year a little bit, I was trying to watch holiday films that I've never seen before. So I was thinking about watching White Christmas. And I was also thinking about watching The Sound of Music because I've never watched that. But yeah, what was the movie I was talking about before? I said, I was starting to say like it's, oh yeah, this one. So the reason I forgot to go back to my thought on this, but they do mention Christmas in that film at the end. Michael Madsen, rest in peace, buddy. Michael Madsen was going home to visit his mother at Christmas. Going to have Christmas with his mother. But yeah, it's a great film. Love that movie. I'm also wearing my Star Wars Christmas t-shirt. So yeah, that's that. This week I'm making gingerbread cookies, which is my annual tradition. I'm going to be sending out some parcels to people that live away. And I don't know, just trying to slow down a little bit. I think a lot of people get really caught up in the busyness of the holiday, but I like to get caught up in the moments of stillness in the holidays. So whether that's staying home on a snow day and watching Christmas specials, or making cookies, or this past week I decorated my tree as well. Just just trying to enjoy savor those little moments. Try to savor some moments. But yeah, I really appreciate watching. It's an hour hangout. Wow, amazing. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you're well. Take care of your friends, your family, your community. Shop local if you're in Canada. Support Canadian businesses and products. And I will be back next week. I think a few weeks ago I was talking about doing some Christmas videos, so I haven't really put a lot of thought into that, but maybe I will do something along those lines again. And like I said, over the Christmas holidays, I'm hoping to go into my archives and dig out some cool stuff to show you. I think I definitely have some things that I could talk about as far as like movies and Christmas, so maybe I'll do something along those lines, but I guess you'll just have to wait and see. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, you know the drill. Until the next time, I will see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.